Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Be mindful of everybody's time here. Uh, Welcome. This is the CTC Running Start Series, February 18th, 2026 installment. Our session today will go from 9 until about 10:45 a.m. We're going to end a little bit early today. So I just wanted to be communicative about that up front. Our session is going to be recorded. We'll get to that in the next slide here, but I just wanted to welcome everybody and also Happy Lunar New Year. All right, we will go ahead and get to the next slide here. Okay, so a few housekeeping pieces. We are going to be recording the main presentation portion. We will be pausing throughout today's presentation to answer questions. So there will be several opportunities for Q&A throughout today. Those will not be recorded. We will take those out of the recording. But as always, we will put the recording on our SBCTC dual credit YouTube page to watch back or for folks that couldn't attend today. And we ask that you please use the chat for questions. Our team is going to be monitoring this throughout, as always. And when posting a question, just make sure you provide a little bit of context on what slide and topic you're referring to, so then we'll be able to go back to the Q&A with that. All right. And then, as always, the slide deck will also be provided after the presentation. We'll share it out on the listserv. Okay, so let's do a few introductions here. My name is Stephanie Wall. I'm a Policy Associate in Student Services and K-12 Alignment at SBCTC. Very grateful and happy to be here with you all today, and I'm going to pop on over to Kristen.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am the Program Administrator of Student Services and K through 12 Alignment at SBCTC. And I think we are missing Tim. So, Becky, would you care to introduce yourself?
I'm Becky McLean, and I work for OSPI, and I collect enrollment and help with the funding portion of Running Start.
Reporting, huh? That's right.
And
All right, we'll pop it on over to Brandon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Reed. I'm here at the State Board in the IT division in the Student Financials Customer Support Team. And with me today is Spencer. Spencer?
Good morning. I'm Spencer Egbert, and I work under Brandon as a senior analyst for the SF SBSCTC, student financials team.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much to everybody here, our presenters for being here today. And Tim McClain will be on a little bit later. He'll jump on at 10 a.m. For updates, the dual credit program supervisor at OSPI. So we're very thankful for you all, our audience, for joining us today, as well as our presenters. We've got a lot of great content for you, and we'll share that in the agenda slide on this next one here. Okay, so today we're going to turn it over to Becky for a little bit to talk about just Billing 101. So really just kind of going back to the basics about Running Start and what billing looks like from a district perspective and from an OSPI perspective. And we're also in a monthly enrollment reporting perspective. And then we're going to turn it on over to our SBCTC student financials team to kind of talk about what tools we have in CTC Link, our enrollment reports, the different queries that we have that can help support you all in identifying students and billing and pulling information. They also have some other resources to share today too, as well as a couple updates. So we'll take probably about the first hour to talk about Billing 101. And then we'll go into our dual credit legislative updates. We've got a lot going on right now. So a lot to share with you a little bit later today. So that'll take place around 10 a.m. And then Tim will be on to provide some OSPI updates, and we'll have a little bit of a Q&A at that point as well. And then we'll wrap up. So no breakout sessions today. I just wanted to make sure. I know we haven't done those in a little bit. We hope to bring those back in March, but not today. All right. Thank you, Kristen. Next slide. Perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to Becky. Becky, thank you so much for being here. We really enjoyed having you last month, and we're excited for this presentation today. So I'll turn it on over to you. Thank you so much.
well, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. So I was asked to come and talk about billing for Running Start. And I'm breaking this up into two parts. One, how do you claim students for funding? And then later in the month, how do you invoice for the funding generated? So as we went over last month, um, you're claiming students monthly for the months October to August, and it's based on a monthly count date. And that monthly count date is that snapshot of the month where you determine which students are eligible to be claimed and how many credits they can be claimed. And so, as we talked about last month, there has been a change. There's an emergency rule in place right now that states that the count dates for the first term, the first term's first count will be the fourth college day of the month. So that would be October, January, April, and July. Those count days are the fourth college days. And then for all the other months, it's the first college days. And why this is important is because in order to be able to claim a student, they have to have participated on or before the count date on that course. And so giving 4 days to show participation, we acknowledge needs to happen. So that's the count date. So what do you count? You count students that are enrolled on the college course on the count date and who has shown participation on or before that count date, but within the prior month. So next slide. How do you report? Okay, you use there's the OSPI official form called the P223RS form, and there's a link right here to it. We update it every year. So this is the link to the 25-26 form. And there you report, you list each student that you're claiming, their name, their grade, and then you provide their credits and their credits and their calculated FTE. So it's important that you determine each student's FTE. And then the form has you total the head count and all of the FTE. So what we've seen is sometimes colleges are providing just total credits and then determining the FTE from the total credits. And the form wants you to instead determine per credit. So make sure to do that. Make sure to individually calculate each student's FTE. And you want to make sure that the FTE that you claim for each student is within the available FTE that is listed on the Running Start verification form. So if a student is exceeding that FTE or is taking more credits than they're eligible for, then you want to make sure that you don't list those credits. Just the ones that can be claimed for state funding. Okay, next slide. And then the form, you want to make sure that someone from the college signs the form for accuracy, because the districts will retain that information for audit purposes, saying this is what we were told, or the eligible students. The form is due to the district by the 8th of the month. And that's important because the districts have to then put those numbers on their form, the district-wide P223, and that's due to us later in a couple days afterwards. So as I mentioned last month about the change in the count dates, if you don't know the actual count by the 8th of the month, we ask that you submit a P223RS estimate count, and then revise it when the actual amount is known. This is important because Running Start, yes, enrollment is important for funding purposes, but we also use it to forecast future enrollment and what the state's going to be obligated to fund in the future. So to go a month without enrollment, we need an estimate. So what's really important is how do you calculate FTE? So FTE for colleges for Running Start is you take each student's college credits and divide by 15. And then importantly, you round to the second decimal place. So by definition, student FTE is a two-place number. So I've heard, so oftentimes districts are in turn, they end up reporting Running Start FTE with 3 decimals, and that's throwing off our process, and that they're saying they're getting it on the P223RS form. So make sure that when you send the districts your FTE, that they're all just 2 decimal places. And again, don't, like I said earlier, don't take the total credits of that district and divide by 15. Instead, calculate each student's FTE and then add up their FTE. Okay, next slide. And then so how to bill. So then the next step is, okay, you've claimed your students, and now you bill the districts for the fund. So that's basically in WAC, what it says is 93% of the funds generated are required to be sent to the college that claimed enrollment. We don't really outline how the billing process is done, but of course districts need a bill to pay, and so so what we did, and with the help of many people, including I wanted to call out Benjamin from Wenatchee Valley, Jordan from Pierce College, and then a lot of districts folks, we created what we're calling the Running Start invoice calculating tool. It's gone through several updates, and we have the most current one here at that link. And this tool is just a tool. You don't have to use it, but it's the process we use to calculate apportionment. So districts will be districts are aware of the tool too. So when they go to reconcile their invoices, they could be looking at the tool to reconcile it. And we also, if you want to use it yourself to calculate your invoices, that would be great. So like I said, it uses the methodology that we use to create apportionment. And first thing it does is it determines each student's FTE. It starts with you listing each student's student and their total credits, and it calculates their FTE by dividing by 15 and rounding to the second decimal place. And then it totals the FTE of that form. Then it calculates the AFT based on the total FTE, and again rounds it to the second place. And then it applies the Running Start rates. So I think that's all that's on that slide, right? So next slide. And the tool itself has 2 tabs. And that was one of the reasons we created it, was to kind of distinguish the difference between a 3-month count, like the fall, winter, spring quarters, and a 2-month count, which is the summer quarter. I have updated the summer quarter for this upcoming summer 2026 quarter. And colleges can use so you could, we often see that colleges bill monthly, which you could use the tool to use to bill monthly, but others use to bill for a college term. So, so the next slide, I think, shows you examples, right, of how it works. Right, so the first, the upper example shows what a 3-month count looks like, and in this example, based on what's being reported, you can see in green, the green columns, that's where you're inputting the credits, and then the blue columns calculate. There's formulas there that calculate the FTE, and then on the top total row, it's calculating the AFTE. They're in yellow, and then applying the Running Start rates to get the amount that could be billed for these 4 students. The bottom example shows a 2-month count, it pretty much takes the students above their first and second month's credit, and then it's applying the AFTE, it's running it all through and showing there in yellow that 4937 is due. So I hope it's a fun tool, it's a cool tool, I think. And if you have any questions on any of this, just let me know. So back to how you claim students. So what happens is when you submit the P223RS form to the district, they then have a couple days to review it, and they might get back to you and have with some changes. For example, maybe there's a student listed that doesn't live in their district anymore, or maybe the student, there's just some changes. So there might be some corrections being recalled back to, referred back to the college that needs to be made, because the district can't overclaim students for more than 1.4 FT right now. And also they can't claim students that don't live in their districts. So there could be reasons that they need to have a correction made. Then the district takes the form, the numbers that you've given them, they combine it with all their college P223 RSs, and then they report to us by the student's school, their enrolled school. They go to the P223 electronic district form, and they report each student's head count and their FT, and it's by the school where they are enrolled. So with the P223 data, there's no way for us to find out which college is claiming the student, just that what district is being claimed, or what school in the district is claiming Running Start. And so the due date to the form is to us is around mid-month. It always depends on how short the month is and how many holidays, because we really are set with it. The goal is we're trying to meet the treasurer's deadline to get the apportionment to the district. So we go from there. We go from the end of the month when that is due and backdate and figure out how much time we can give districts to submit their form. So it's usually about mid-month. This month it was February 12th. Next month it'll be March 12th. And then once that's all done, we then run the enrollment every month. We just did this yesterday for February. We shut down all the processes. We gather all the information, and we're calculating the enrollment. We figure out the AFT. This month was the 6th month of the school year, so we're taking the numbers, dividing by 16, of course, rounding to 2. And then I give all that data to our apportionment folks, Jackie McDonald, and she takes it all in and she runs it through the apportionment calculation, which she's doing right now in February. The funding will come in at the end of the year, end of the month, in the district's apportionment report. And that's the amount that you can then turn around and bill for, because they will have gotten, they would have received funding for the Running Start that you've claimed.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Becky. Really appreciate it. And we will share this PowerPoint out on the listserv as well afterwards. So you'll have all the links and all this good information that Becky's provided today. So thanks again for coming, Becky. We really appreciate it.
Sure, I'll stay on though, but I'll be hidden.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn it on over to Brandon and Spencer from our student financials team at SBCTC to talk about our side of the house, the Community Technical College side of the house when it comes to Running Start billing and all those good things. So I will
Yeah,
hand
thank
it on
you.
over. Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie. Today what we're going to go through is just quickly showing the report process, how to generate the queries that are you depend on for submitting the billing. And then I want to just go over a few of the resources that we have out there and that are available. And lastly, give you an update on that homeschool checkbox project that's been worked on. And as Stephanie mentioned, the kind of state board side, that process running start page in CTC Link is a custom page that was developed just for the Running Start program and has been it's gone through a couple of iterations since deployment of CTC Link, and so That page does fall within the student financials universe, as it kind of makes sure that the charges and the waiver process for all the Running Start students does um, per perform accurately and efficiently. And so we are happy to be your resource for that page and for some of the queries and reports that are generated out of that page. And so just to share with you the general process of running the reports, I will send a request to share right now. And, all right, here is the all too familiar Running Start page, hopefully, or not Running Start page, but our CTC link main splash page. And so in order to make your way over and run the Running Start billing report, you would just venture over to the the reporting tab here, which is a little bit lower, reporting tools. And then we're going to go query and then query viewer. Oftentimes for searching, I like to just use contains, because I know for the two that we're going to be looking at, the RS billing is in the title of the query. And so we have both the RS billing and then the Running Start billing _ high school, which is reflective of the P223 report information. And so for both of these reports, be sure to always run them in this schedule mode. What the schedule mode will do is run it kind of behind the scenes. Whereas if you run a report in the HTML, in the Excel, or the XML, those will all kind of stop you from continuing to proceed and work in the CTC link system. And so you basically you would just find the report, go over to schedule, and if you haven't run this before, you'll want to build a new run control ID, and the run control ID will kind of save and be usable for each time you process this report. And we like to include, as far as the run control kind of nomenclature and best practices, your ID, your business unit ID number, and maybe a mention of what the process is. And then sometimes I like to put in a little personal touch so that it's kind of original to you. And so you would just go ahead and add this and then complete the rest of the parameters it requests. They were going to run it for, or pretend to run it at least, for SPSCC. I am in the training environment, so none of this data is real. And so then for a term, or I'll just use the fall for the time being. And then once you're here, you would hit OK, and the job would kick off. And so at this point in time, it's just kind of a wait and allow it to finish. And so you would select the new window icon and then go find the report manager, which is just one page back up under reporting tools and then report manager. And you can see that earlier I kicked it off, so we didn't have to wait too long. And so for just the running starter, the RS billing plain report, you would select it, and then you would notice a nice big CSV file that's available, and you would then be able to open it up and take a look at the incredible amount of detail that is provided by the RS billing report. And so, yeah, that's the methodology for using the schedule. We schedule report process. As I mentioned, there is both multiple reports that are available to you. And in order to find those reports and some of those, you can go into the reference center, and there's kind of several different parts of the reference center that we like to highlight. There is a specific Running Start kind of page that will contain all of the resources and kind of training materials, quick training materials that we have out there for you. And the the main, if you will, being the process running start link here at top. And as you'll notice, you can uh, learn more about how to update the actual student information, how to properly update the student group that is also available on that page. And then we also have some information about the RS billing query. And so these are the specific instructions on how to go in and actually run the query. In addition, there's a little bit more detail about the P223 billing process, which, as Stephanie mentioned a bit ago, was a year or two ago that kind of went through this group and was discussed and developed and refined and is also out there for you. The list of fields that are provided are in here as well for you. And so yeah, and I've just included both the reference center running start general, and then of course just a couple of links directly to the process running start page, and then the running start queries page as well. And so as we discussed earlier, I think that especially if Becky agrees and the group agrees that an adjustment of decimal points would be beneficial to the whole group, we are more than happy to accommodate and facilitate that change. And so we just can keep that topic hot, and we will work on making that happen with you. Kind of like we've done with the homeschool student checkbox enhancement request. Just a few weeks ago, Stephanie presented the enhancement to the college collaboration group, which is one of several steps in order to get and make global changes in the CTC Link system. And so as of today, I found there were 17 yes votes. And so I don't see any issue with this passing. And so the rest of the kind of process for making that checkbox available to you in production will be a few more steps in the governance process. And we also need to make sure that some of the other enhancement requests that are in the student financials queue also are completed so that this can make its way into the queue, and then we can get this into production. There has been several colleges asking for it to kind of jump in line, and we're okay with that. It's fine with us. We do have a lot of confidence in what's already been developed and already been tested, and it is kind of a straight forward and simple addition to an already custom page. So a lot of those things are kind of hopefully pushing this to be a sooner than later kind of production oriented change. And so that is what what Spencer and I had for you today, as far as kind of just reminding you to set up the schedule query and make sure your run controls are consistent and appropriate when working in CTC Link as best as possible. And so, yeah, we are, as I mentioned, open to making any improvements to the system and into the training materials and resources so that we are as providing, appropriate and accurate information out there for everyone to take advantage of, and for us all to kind of move as close as we can to standardized processing within the system to promote efficiency and accuracy for the students and for all the staff supporting all of our lovely students. So with that, I will open the floor for some questions. And so Spencer and I are happy to answer and let you know what we think.
Okay, awesome. As always, thank you so much, Brandon and Spencer. Really appreciate you all. Just love the collaboration as always. Appreciate the time today. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks all.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward with our legislative session 2026 updates here. So first and foremost, I just wanted to highlight a few things that have happened in the past month-ish. We had, I believe it was on the 30th of January, there was a dual credit work session that happened. And it was a collaborative presentation by our Director of Student Services and K-12 Alignment at SBCTC, Jamie Traugott, and also the Director of Policy at Council of Presidents, Julie Garver. And so that work session took place uh, on the end of January, and it's pretty great to watch. But I'm realizing as I'm saying this that that is not the link to that. The link that is underneath the dual credit work session is actually to another event that happened. It was the hearing that was recorded on SB 6260 about lowering the Running Start enrollment cap from 1.2 to 1.4 to 1.2. So actually, so the link up there, so sorry about that. We'll get everybody the link to the dual credit work session here before the end. But the link that is included there that Kristen just dropped in the chat, that actually is to watch our amazing Running Start students, presidents throughout our state, our community and technical college system, as well as maybe some of you on the call. I can't see the list of folks that are in here, but that went and testified in opposition to Senate Bill 6260. So trying not to get rid of summer running start or lowering that enrollment cap. So I don't know if everyone has had a chance to watch that yet. It is amazing, very powerful, a lot of wonderful testimonies. And so to view the hearing, we just made a note here, please toggle to 1:06. But the whole hearing, all the testimonies are just fantastic. So really highly recommend y'all take a peek at that. So that happened in January, and now it was very powerful, very impactful. However, tomorrow we were just informed that there is a Senate Committee on Ways and Means. There's a hearing scheduled tomorrow, February 19th from 4 to 6 for that same bill, for Senate Bill 6260. So it is getting a hearing tomorrow. We, at this point, are asking any interested students and families that would be willing to testify, ideally in person or if possible remote, if they would be able to on behalf of Summer Running Start, particularly if they're an SRSL student, they've had experience with Prof Tech while in Summer Running Start. Please reach out to me ASAP if you have any interested students and families. I know this is a very last minute request, but as we know with legislative session, things come up very quickly and we need to act very quickly. So if you have any students or families that would be interested in testifying against the Senate Bill 6260, would love to hear from you. Please feel free to reach out ASAP. And we already did do SBCTC did do a call out to, and we do have some students, and we're looking for presidents as well that would be interested in testifying tomorrow. So the sooner the better to let me know by, so we can get folks signed up. We'll do the signing up and the prepping and things ahead of time for testimony. But just wanted to do a call out to see if you all did have some students that would be interested and families as well. So just wanted to make a note about that today. Good news, HB 2375 is a dead bill. So that's that bill that was about Running Start allocation. It was going to replace the 7% district withholding with a varied formula that could have impacted our system like 50% following. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Yeah, celebrate that. Yeah, so that is really good news. I'm happy to share that, even though we're still battling 6260, HB 2375 is not moving forward. So that is good news. But you know what? Second round, right, for SB 6260. We're going to get there. Do what we can as a system. So wanted to share about those two bills and where we're at. And I see the comment here. Are you looking for new people or can it be a president who already testified? I think, yep, Clover Park president testified last time. So we have been asked by senators to Preferably if we had new presidents, presidents that haven't testified. But I think if Clover Park's president is interested in testifying again, I think we'll take it. Like we're just trying to get, we want to keep summer running start, right? We want to keep the FT for students. So yeah, go ahead and reach out to me, Erica, if you wouldn't mind, and we can kind of correspond on email about that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Um, and then outside of those bills, I just wanted to make a note. I believe I brought this up last time. We have a document that we've been sharing with our presidents. Thank you, Kristen, for dropping that in the chat there. It has been revised since we shared it last time. We've got a little bit updated information in there, but there is going to be another update. Yeah, thank you, Kristen, coming as well soon. That's going to have some graphics in it and a little bit more data points to really, prove that summer running start is working for students on multiple different levels. Summer running start has our highest. It's our highest term for our waiver students. Running start enrollment has grown significantly. So we all know this, right? As programmatic staff and working with our students and our colleges. So just trying to make that very clear to the legislature that this is something that is very important and is very impactful, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So that one pager is going to be updated soon, as Kristen said. It has been updated since I shared it out last time. So just wanted to share that here with you all as well. And hopefully by the time we put this out on the listserv, we'll have the new one ready to share. Okay. I don't know if anybody took a look at the Seattle Times this morning. Actually, I think at 8 a.m. this was released. There is an article about Running Start Summer, and it was written by Chris Reichtel and Nate Humphrey. Our leaders for OSPI and SBCTC. So please take a look. It's a great article. Perfect timing, right? Right before the hearing tomorrow. So really hoping that's going to be impactful as well. The hearing tomorrow is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah, so it's a 2 hour. There's going to be several other bills in there as well, but the hearing will take place from 4 to 6 tomorrow. All right. Let me just pause real quick. I see there's comments and I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions here. Oh, thank you, Kristen. Yes, anyway, we could get a gift version of the article. Yeah, the subscription to the Seattle Times. Thank you, Kristen. She's going to download it for us. Perfect. Okay, any other questions? Okay, great. So now we're going to kind of shift. I wanted to bring everybody's attention to there's going to be a pretty massive re-engagement summit that's going to happen, if you haven't heard about it yet, April 24th of 2026. So this year in Renton, Washington. The link here, thank you, Kristen, it goes to the flyer. It is being spearheaded by Northwest Education Access, and it's for opportunity youth and adult learning champions. So what I wanted to ask this group today is they're looking for interested presenters in the dual credit space that might be interested in hosting a session at this summit, highlighting how you support maybe your waiver students, maybe how you work with your open doors programs. Maybe you want to highlight your open doors programs, because I know that, being in the Running Start space, we also can be in our open doors programs, youth re-engagement spaces. So I just wanted to do a call out. If anybody's interested in presenting, they're putting together that agenda now, and the sessions now. Go ahead and email Danica Martinez at gmail.com, and she'd be happy to. I told her I was going to do a call out for this, and so hoping we can get some maybe interested folks that might have some creative ideas that they're doing to help support their low-income students, or work in collaboration with their open doors programs. So please feel free to reach out to Danica if you're interested in that opportunity. And then I'll probably have information about how to register as well as we get a little bit closer to that date. I don't believe that has opened up just yet. Okay. And so very exciting news, and Brandon alluded to this a little bit earlier. We are officially approved for a dual credit council. Woohoo! So our community technical college system now has been approved as of January 30th for a dual credit council. Woohoo! So I know this is a long time coming. Yeah, very exciting news. Our first meeting is going to be virtual on April 16th, I believe. Tentatively, the time is going to be 10 to 1. Stay tuned for more information about how to attend. We're working on all those details behind the scenes right now and getting that all moving. So very exciting though. Each college will have like one voting member that they will elect to the council, but we are going to leave this open so multiple folks from the colleges in the dual credit space can attend and be part of this. So we really want it to be collaborative, and it's open to all dual credit. So it'll be, I think we've named in the bylaws the top, not the top, Running Start, college and high school, CTE dual credit, but also we're welcoming any other like our technical high school programs, open doors, youth re-engagement. So it will be open, which is really exciting. So very excited about this. Lots more information to come, but just wanted to share that in the space here today. All right, I think that is all I have. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to Tim. Thank you, Tim, for being here. I saw you popped in. Um, and Tim and I will take questions after he's done with his slides, if that sounds good.
Yeah, thanks for having me as always. I don't have a lot that wasn't shared in our last meeting, but I know a lot of folks are anxious to learn more about the RSEVF and some of the changes. So I thought if given the opportunity, I could simply share it since it has yet to be released. Before I do, though, I wanted to tackle a couple of things that have come up. One, I've gotten multiple questions about ADA compliance about the RSEVF and any of our forms, really. Um, and I think it's important just to acknowledge we do ADA check our documents. What I tend to be finding in my conversations with colleges is that we might be using different tools and we might be using different standards. Um, for everybody's information, anything that we do post on our website needs to be A, branded, and B, accessible. So I suppose I'm trying to give you some assurance that we do go through that. If we are using different tools and sometimes different operating systems, I've heard of questions that have come up around Apple users versus PCs and how those ADAing differences present themselves. Long and short is we do ADA. I don't know what the solution is if our ADA standards don't match the colleges, that's something we can continue to explore in conversations between agencies. But I do understand, just like here at OSPI, you might be in a position in which you can't post something if it's not meeting your standards. I would just throw out there as a suggestion, you can always link to our website if you can't post it on your own. In fact, that's what we do with the Running Start FAQs and all the program specific FAQs because they're not branded for OSPI. We actually link to SBCTC's page to get access to those. So just wanted to clarify that. And we can talk more about it. And I'm speaking quickly because I know we need to get through this. But the second thing is there's been a lot of questions coming up, and I might have remarked on it in the past about signatures. And the signatures are required of parents and guardians for students who are under 18. I just want to reiterate that. I'm pretty sure I covered it last time. But we run into a lot of liability issues at the school level if we have students participating in Running Start without any degree of parental oversight or permission. It becomes a safety concern. It becomes a question of accountability if students are signing up for classes at the college level that their parents aren't supportive of or guardians aren't supportive of. So I just wanted to also address that those signatures are required, and we get the one-off questions about a student who has been emancipated or does not have um, parents available to sign those or guardians available to us to sign those documents. We can handle those on a case-by-case basis, but in general, we do need these signed and we do need them submitted. So going on to the changes that everybody has been anxious to see. I will mention as I show this that it is still going through the approval process, but I am fairly confident that all of these changes will stick. Can I get a thumbs up from Kristen or Stephanie, who I can actually see that you're seeing the document okay. All right. So as promised, we talked about this last time. I gave a kind of list of the changes that we were going to undertake. We have included the line here about intent to pursue a high school diploma. So this should help identify those students who do need the high school equivalencies completed and those who are going down a different path, whether that's homeschool students or whether those are students who are pursuing the AA and the high school diploma issued by the college. So that is there, and it's there intentionally in the student section to provide some accountability to the student and not rely on a counselor's impression of a student's intent. If a student says, I'm not pursuing a district issued diploma, so I'm going to do things this way, we don't get hit down the road with, you didn't advise my student properly, right? They've selected that, they've told us that's their intent. We take that at face value. We have, by popular demand, you can't probably read it there because it's highlighted, but we added intended running start classes that got the highest amount of votes at about 70% in our last meeting. No going back now. Intended running start classes there. We added a new line here. We removed the student permission around FRPL eligibility. That's now exclusively in the counselor's hands. That doesn't require permission. We put it there because with some of the challenges we're facing around FRPL disclosure, we thought maybe people would be more willing to give it if the student consented to it, and that just seemed to confuse things. Because then when the checkbox wasn't selected, they didn't provide it. So we got rid of it and simplified it. We also added the 12th grade student delaying graduation specifically. And you'll notice these icons up here, down here. I'm going to show you the key on the back side of the page that kind of elaborates on these things so that there are really clear guidelines around what this means for students. But we did add that because there was a lot of confusion around 12th but not graduating and the issue of delayed graduation. Added the date section that a lot of you all wanted. So now we have a date under the signature. So that'll help our tracking of submission times. And down here, what did we do? In the acknowledgement section, we added we simplified the question around FRPL eligibility. It was a lot wordier. It's just pretty straightforward, and there's a little bit more on the backside to explain this, but it just simply acknowledges that schools and districts must share the eligibility, whether it's on this form or through another means. And then we added something here about the high school and beyond plan and the question of students who are pursuing a district diploma being required to complete that within school links and the question of exceptions for those who are newly onboarding school links platform. we just added that as an acknowledgement that the student knows that is still a requirement. Okay. This is the key that I was referring to. So wherever you see those icons on the front side, there's just a little bit more context for what the implications of those selections mean. So here we address the question of the high school diploma and local graduation requirements, high school and beyond plan. So if a student checks that box, they know what it means to be checking that box. And if they're checking that box to say, yes, I am pursuing a district issued diploma, I have to do the high school and beyond plan. This addition, it's fairly minor because this has been here before. But we're just trying to clarify that the RSEVF is intended to be the mechanism by which we're sharing FRPL data. But it does acknowledge here that if that is not available to counselors, it does need to be provided by the district, likely through a child nutrition services office. So as those questions continue to come up, you can always reference the form itself to help answer them and get what you need from the districts. Here we put in a whole section about the graduating senior conundrum that we faced last year. So it addresses all the questions about keeping the record open, providing evidence that their graduation has in fact been delayed and so forth, and acknowledges that students meeting graduation requirements should be permitted to walk in graduation ceremonies without being formally graduated. That's one that came up often, so I put it there for you colleges to be able to reference in those conversations. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But that is the messaging that we're putting out there, is that if they've met graduation requirements, they should walk. And then over here, just because we added a new field, we explained it. And that's the RSEVF.
Okay, I don't hear any. So just another plug, if you have any students or families that are willing to testify tomorrow from 4 to 6, please email me against 6260, reducing the AAFTE for Running Start from 1.4 to 1.2. Please let me know ASAP. We would be happy to add them to our testimonies for tomorrow. All right, thank you everyone. Really appreciate the time today. We are going to end a little bit early. Our next session is March, what is it? March, I don't have our PowerPoint up right this second. There it is, March 18th. Perfect, 9 to 11. So we hope to see you there. We will send out, as always, the PowerPoint on the listserv after this. Take care, wishing everybody a great evening, great day, great rest of your week. Thanks so much.